everyone, myself Niyati Chauhan, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology, Department of Instrumentation and Control. Our subject is Safety Instrumented System. Unit 6, Determination Safety Integrity Level. So let's start Unit 6. First we discuss introduction. SIL is a measure of safety system performance. A system consists of sensor, logic box and final elements. Therefore, it is incorrect to refer to the SIL of an individual component of a system. For example, a logic solve in isolation. Who is responsible? Determining SIL is mentioned in various safety system standards. Evaluating the process risk, determining the appropriate safety integrity level is a responsibility of multidisciplinary team, not any one individual. A control system engineer may be involved, but the review process will also require other specialized, such as those typically involved in hazard operability. Same organization prefer to determine the SIL during the hazard operability. As a minimum representative from the following departments should participate in a SIL determination process: mechanical design, safety operation and control system. Next is which technique. When it comes to hazard and risk analysis and determining safety integrity levels, there are many ways of evaluating process risk, none more correct than others. Various industry documents describe multiple qualitative and quantitative methods for evaluating risk and determining SIS performance. Qualitative techniques are easier and faster to apply, but experience has shown they often provide consultative answers. More quantitative techniques require greater effort in their development and use, but experience has shown them to often provide lower SIL requirement. In general, if the use of qualitative technique indicate a significant percentage of SIL2 or SIL3 requirements, seriously consider the use of more quantitative techniques such as layer of protection analysis, LOPA. Common issues. Here, no matter which type of method are you using in risk analysis, there are different hazard events associated with each process unit and each event associated with risk. For example, a vessel where one is measuring pressure, temperature, level and flow. The pressure measurement is probably meant to detect and prevent an overpressure condition and explosion. Then next, evaluating risk. Risks are everywhere. Working in a chemical plant obviously involves risk, but then as does docking a boat. One involves more risk than the other, but there is a measure of risk in everything we do. Every industry may goal for zero injuries for many organizations. Here we are discussing some points for evaluating risk. For evaluating risk, first point hazard risk, then third fatality rates, Risk inherent in modern society, voluntary versus involuntary risk, tolerable levels of risk, tolerable risk in the process industries. Okay, so we are discussing about evaluating risk. So first, hazard. The American Institute of Chemical Engineering AICHE definition of a hazard is an inherent physical or chemical characteristic that has the potential for causing harm to people, properly or the environment. It is the combination of a hazard material and operating environment and certain unplanned event that could result in an accident. Hazards are always present. For example, gas online is a combustible liquid. Therefore, we don't store gas online near ignition sources. At last, our goal is to minimize or eliminate hazard events or accidents. Number 2, risk. Risk is usually defined as the combination of severity and probability of a hazard event. Risk can be evaluated qualitatively or quantitatively. The safety system standards would appear to focus on personal risk. People are not the only thing at risk in process plant. For example, unnamed offshore platforms have a considerable amount of risk, even though there may be no personnel on the platform most of the time. Factors at risk are personnel, both plant personnel and nearby public. Then lost production downtime. The loss associated with not being able to sell a product. This can often be the largest economic factor. Capital equipment. The cost associated with replacing damaged equipment. Then environment. Polluting food suppliers used by multiple countries or requiring the evacuation of an area is obviously something to be avoided. Then litigation cost. Legal costs associated with injuries, death and environmental losses can be significant. Then company image. Bad press can put a company out of business. Some of these items, for example, lost production, capital equipment, may be quantified. Some others, for example, company image, may be more difficult to quantify. Safety system performance level can be assigned based on any of the risk listed of fatality rates. The most obvious and serious risk to personnel is a fatality. There are two common methods of expressing fatality rates. One is the fatal accident rate or FAR. It is the number of deaths per million person hours of explode. Another is the probability per unit of time. There are number of sources that list fatality rate for various activities from different industries. Means of transportation, recreated activities including voluntary as well as involuntary risk. table lists fatality rates for various activity may be the same at the fair may be different. Due to the difference in exposures hours, in table some of fields are blank because data has not been founded. So in this table, in first column for activity, second column for probability, and third column for fatal accident rate. Fine. So first travel, okay, then after air, train, bus, car, motorcycle, okay, occupation, chemical industry, manufacturing, shipping, coal mining, and agriculture and boxing. So here define activities, then second column that is indicate probability per year, and third column that is for fatal accident rate. Okay, so you can see in, if you have any question in this session, then you can ask me. Thank you for watching video.